Yeah, it's a fairly easy trick, and if you learn it, you can use the same technique in After Effects. Um, it's basically what happens is you take the main object, you make a copy of it, you darken it to make a shadow, and you flip it to make a reflection. So these are the two aspects of today's exercise. So I have got this, I pasted an ocean here. When you paste it, it might go anywhere above the layer you have selected. So I'm just making sure I drag it above the background so I can see it. I killed my previous clouds which were looking tacky anyway, and Control T will allow me to scale this up. If I press Shift and scale it up, I can scale it up quite uniformly. So you can see the reason for the water is because I want this horse to basically cast a reflection and some shadow on the water. I will make it a bit brighter, it's a bit too dark right now. Just so that I can see the shadows a bit more. So I made it a bit bright. So now I'll get the horse. That's 1, 2, 3. Hey Todd, do you mind just taking a break and giving your mouth a bit of a rest until I finish this demo? So I've just selected these three things so I can move them together, and I select them by pressing the Shift key. So I've got these three things, right? Probably scale it a bit, so Apple T or Control T on the PCs. Two things, a reflection and a shadow, and Cameron probably is already aware of this, but I thought everybody should know this. So I take these three objects, if I drag them to this icon here, which is new layer icon, I get a copy of them, and I added one more extra layer by mistake because I double clicked it. But I got a copy of these things. I got a layer 6 copy, layer 2 copy, and layer 5 copy. These three. I'm going to merge them, right click, merge layers, and you can see this is my copy. It's a single layer now. Okay. The reflection, if I go to edit, transform, flip vertical, you can see I start getting enough material for a reflection. Reflections are distorted, so I'm going to just Control T and scale it down a bit because the reflections tend to be distorted and they fade away, and really the left foot could be in front of the right foot and people wouldn't know, just a reflection, and you'll see what I mean. So this reflection, it has to appear as the horse, and you can see it's already appearing as a horse, but I need it to be transparent, and there, transparent. I'm going to add a layer mask. See the layer mask? Take a brush, and just near the hooves, I'm going to fade it off with a black airbrush. And again, I'm going to fade it off towards the end because the reflection fades off. You see, a reflection really, it just fades off. Flipped, made transparent, added a layer mask, faded it off. And finally, what I'm going to do to this one is, I'm going to go to Filter and Liquify. Liquify, let me reduce my brush size. I've got the smudge on. There's several tools on. Liquify's got several ways of distorting an image, and you could have fun for it over a whole day, And see this, it's just got so many different ways. I'm using the bracket keys. Above the enter key, there are rectangular brackets, open bracket and close bracket. The open bracket reduces the brush size. So I'm reducing the brush size. Control minus to zoom out. And I'll use the smudge tool. And can you see what happened to the reflection as I go across? And because there are ripples in the water, that's what is going to happen, If you're in After Effects, this whole thing can be animated. So you can animate the shimmer. But for now, just understand this can be done. And you can see now it's sort of distorted, it's transparent, it's fading off. So I've got a reflection. Take the original, flip it, smudge it. I mean, An artist could probably use a couple of brushes and paint this, but you see, when I use the original, I get the shadows and lights as well. You see it's dark underneath the wings, even in the reflection, dark underneath the wings. There's a hoof here, there's a hoof here, so leg to leg. And yeah, it's overall, you can see there's a head here which you can make out. So very believable. I need one more. I'm going to drag this and drop it in the new layer. I don't need this mask here, so I'm deleting the mask. Delete. So now I've got one more object, you see here. Now the shadow, because it's on the water, will also be distorted. It won't be a crisp shadow because the surface isn't crisp. How do I first make it a shadow? Okay, let me bring back the opacity. If I go to image, adjust, hue saturation, and I kill the lightness. Cool. I kill the lightness. I got a shadow. The distortion is still there, which is good. It works for me. I want to bend it. Let's say the sun is coming from my right. I can bend it to my left, or bend. In this case, it's easier to bend it to my right. I'll cheat. So if I just go to edit, transform, or just go Apple T, and then right click and choose warp. Warp gives me this grid. You see, so I'll just first move it somewhere here before I start warping it. And the shadow is to be far, far away. And in fact, I could just leave it there. But I can go to edit, transform, warp, and I'm just going to try and distort it here. Just get this guy out of the way. And you could really change it into whatever direction you wanted, depending on where you think the sun is coming from, which side of the horse has the highlights. But you can see I'm warping it. A brilliant tool, warp. If you want to take a skin, warp it on some kind of a creature and all those sort of things. Warp. So I've got a shadow, I've got a reflection. So those are the two things I had in mind. There are a few more things that I think I had planned for earlier. But let me see. Can I see the website? You got the website on your screen, don't you? Yeah, so we'll look at cloning later on, but I want to set you up for your exercise today. For today's exercise, what I want you to do is once you have your creature for today. So today's creature, I'm going to give you some keywords. Similar to last week, you're going to make a morph, but you're not going to make it in a photo finish. You're just going to put the things together, and then what you're going to do is you will take a pen tool, a brush tool, and you will start sketching your creature. Okay, so you're just going to sketch your concept creature based on what you put together. I don't want a finished product for the creature, but I do want a concept sketch of it. And when you're done, you hide everything else and you put your concept creature, right? Now that looks pretty tacky, so I'm going to get rid of it. But you will need a pen tool for this. So for putting it together, you won't need the stylus, but you will need the stylus later on. So you might have to share it because I don't know how many we have. We have only 16 styluses and more students. But put together your creature. Finally, when you're done, make a new layer, sketch over it. So today you're making a new creature, and the keywords for today are. So I'm going to give you a keyword. So you think on those lines. You don't just take a tortoise and a frog because you like it. So the keywords today are beast soldier, a soldier that's a beast, and armored animal. So in ancient times, at least in India, when they took the elephants to battle,
like the Persians did, like they
yeah, a lot
in the
of
past.
yeah, a lot of those Middle Easterns, they when they took out the elephant itself also wore a lot of armor. So you take your animal of choice, put some armor on it, new layer, sketch out the creature with the armor. So any one of these, beast soldier, armored animal, you want to do something else, talk to me on similar lines. It has to have the theme of battle warrior. So soldier goes to battle, so does an armored animal. So the theme is of battle warrior. Put together your creature, your character, and yeah. So it could be a rhino, it could be whatever beast you want to take to battle. So that's the exercise for today.